안녕하세요 from Korea and welcome to Next Matchup. Today we're cooking 4 of the easiest Korean side dishes and showing you just how simple these recipes are. If you can get hold of these ingredients, then give these a try. They are guaranteed to work. Today it's side dish time and I'm cooking 청경채나물. It's basically Bokchoy-namul. It's basically bokchoy seasoned vegetables, if you want the easy words. And here is our 청경채. This is the one we're using today, and we're going to boil this up and make a very popular side dish. So as I've already mentioned, it's pretty simple. There's basically 6 ingredients. Let's start with our bokchoy, and you've got to cut the ends off here. Make sure you do that, otherwise it'll be tough and it won't cook through properly. Now we're only cooking these for 1 minute. Get it boiling and then just chuck them in there. It's so simple, but just make sure under 1 minute. And of course we are blanching these, so they must be cooled off. Cold water, give them a rinse. And then of course we gotta squeeze them. If you've been looking at some of the other videos, you know we do a lot of squeezing of vegetables around here. We do a lot of washing of vegetables, I guess. So wash them and squeeze them. Get rid of that excess moisture. Perfect. Good. And now slice it up. For some reason with the bok choy, we tend to slice this up into very small pieces compared to the spinach, which you can see later, which is actually in larger pieces. This is just how we do it, but obviously you can make it based on how you want it. You can slice it up a little bit larger pieces of bok choy if you want. And we add those ingredients. It's pretty much done. The hardest thing with this is to get the amount of bok choy right. A lot of bok choy turns into a little bit of seasoned bok choy. So make sure you either try to buy a lot and then just cook it up so you've got some for later, or just be prepared to have only a tiny amount like I do here. This is basically 1 day's worth. I could eat this in a day. So just buy as much as you have based on how much you need. And it's done. Now let's move on to the next one, which is a fun one here. Perfect to go with beer. It is fried anchovies with almonds. And the color is beautiful. You want that brown, that's what makes it. Now there's a few more ingredients in this one. You've got the list there. Just go through that. Most of these are pretty simple to get. Most people have this lying around in the house. So the trick here is we fry this up and then we take it off the heat and then return it to the heat. So look at that, we're getting this up, stir fry, high heat, and we want these things to pop. I don't show it in this video, but I do have footage of the little things like jumping around in the pan. That's what you want. They're almost moving. As I'm stirring here, they're browning up, they're turning a little bit sort of darker color. Try not to burn it, of course. Now like I said, you get the anchovies off, right? And then we're frying up the garlic in a little bit of oil. We just want that oil to be very garlicky to get the full flavor. Then return it, our anchovies back in with a little bit of sugar. This is a slightly sweeter dish, but obviously you can put in less sugar if you would prefer a little bit more savory. And we just keep stirring. It's on a relatively high heat, not a super high, more like a medium heat here. We're just adding these things in as we go and stirring around and keeping this thing moving, making sure we're not burning anything. Delicious cornstarch syrup, that'll thicken things up a little bit. You could add honey instead as well. You don't have to add cornstarch syrup, honey is great. And the green peppers are fairly optional. I've had this dish before without green peppers, but I like the little bit of color it adds. Sesame seeds with sesame oil, and now it's really starting to take shape here, and there we go, look at that. So it's sort of sweet and savory as well as a little bit sticky, and it goes perfect with beer, which you'll see soon. Now we stored this in the fridge and had it over the course of about a week, and it was perfect for putting with a normal side dish, having in the mornings, having at night, and of course me just sitting here eating it while having a beer. Oh, and it was actually much better than I expected. I usually don't eat this side dish very often, but when you cook it yourself, something about the taste of it tastes better. While he eats those, I will say that side dish culture is just very important in Korea. It's very rare you'll ever go out to a restaurant that doesn't have some sort of side dish. Even when you get pizza, you tend to get pickles as like a mini side dish, or radish as well with chicken. So it's one of the reasons I love Korea. Now let's look at one of my favorite side dishes that I wish I could cook every day, and this is radish salad. And it's a spicy one. We're away from the green for a bit. Let's get red. Beautiful. Today it is beautiful here in Korea, and I've got another great Korean recipe to share with you. Join me in the kitchen today as we cook the Korean side dish musaengje. Delicious musaengje. And for our musaengje we need radish, mu, right? Radish is the most important thing, and you don't necessarily need a lot. Cut it into thin slices, as thin as sort of you would like it, and as long as you would like it. It's really up to you. Great cutting skills from Nick there. Oh, look at all that. Radish is perfect. And a bit of green onion. Goes very well with this dish. But that's really it, and then it's just about the spice. You can see to the left there in the video, beautiful spice that we're going to add later. Now you add a little bit of sugar here, mix it up, and then let it sit, and that will draw out the water. And essentially like a mini pickle to our radish. Now you could also add a little bit of vinegar if you want at this stage, but I prefer to do that at a later stage. So just get rid of this water, the sugar will draw it out, give it a squeeze, get all that water out. Like I said, there's a lot of squeezing of vegetables when you're cooking Korean food. Back in our lovely bowl, and let's make the musaengje. All these ingredients, throw them in there. That's how easy it is. Look, beautiful slow motion. There's our red pepper flakes, and that's what gives it the flavor. You can add more or less depending on your taste, but keep in mind if you do add less, it will not be as red. And now we mix it up. And you want to give this a good mix. Red pepper flakes, if you undermix, it will taste fine, but you'll have big clumps. You'll also notice that it doesn't dye into the food as well. So you want to keep mixing. Mix, 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 mix and mix, and then it gets the beautiful red color that you're looking for, and the red from the peppers will dye into that radish. Beautiful. And it's not too spicy if you add less red pepper. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Today's food is a side dish called Sigeumchi-namul. Let's have a look at our Sigeumchi. That just means spinach. There's the Sigeumchi, and we're going to turn this into a side dish. This side dish is important for people to be able to cook easily because you actually use it in a lot of other cooking that we do in Korea. For instance, I will do a similar dish when I'm making japchae, and I'll cook the similar dish when I'm making bibimbap. And then you're just adding it to the bibimbap or you're adding it to the japchae. So if you can do this once, it's quite useful. Same as the bokchoy, throw it in for under a minute and it's done. And then wash it, rinse it, squeeze it. Very similar recipe. This is a super easy recipe. We're done in under a minute here. So yeah, not exactly the hardest one, but that's why these are the 4 easiest. And I've compiled these 4 here in this video, but keep in mind each one of these has a longer video with a little bit more of a description on my channel. So check out the channel. You can also find other Korean side dishes to add to these. If you only cook these 4, you would be doing great. But if you add a few more to your repertoire, it will be perfect for when you're trying to impress your family with a bit of Korean cooking. And we're almost done with this. You add in these things, the sesame seeds, the oil, give it a stir, and it's basically finished. One One of the easiest, definitely this is one of the easiest Korean side dishes you'll ever make, and incredibly impressive. So I hope you've enjoyed those 4. If you try them out, let me know how it goes. I'm always keen to hear how people are doing with their Korean cooking journey, so to speak. And keep an eye on my Korean cooking journey by subscribing. I post a new Korean recipe every week. Enjoy!